I look at things literally and spiritually, and I just try to figure which one matches spiritually, what matches literally. One thing's for sure, the power exchange is literally going to happen. And I try to envision how what's it going to look like. Because let's face it, the elite have their vision. We all know it's going to fail when they try to establish their vision. And so just look at it like this. When this debacle, shenanigans, when it truly starts, here's how it's going to end. As you see, I mean, today the sky it's clear, it's freezing, it's cold, it's 16 degrees, and well, let's just say this: when everything's going on up in the skies and the show is near its climax, it's at the end, or they give us 3 days of darkness where they take the sun away, it doesn't rise up. I see that happening, where the sun is literally darkened completely. And I mean, we might have a moon floating around that's literally turned to blood. I mean, they might even put some special effects on it, make it look like it's dripping blood. That would be freaking cool to see. But in the end, in the very end, the difference in the power is going to be the difference in the power is going to be, we're in charge. Us, the people, the ones that have all turned to Christ because of the deception, the fear in people's hearts. They're going to turn to God. They're going to be Christ-like. And I know this isn't something that the elite want to hear, and that's the whole point. That is the whole point. The elite do not want to hear what I'm getting ready to tell them. I mean, I've already said it, but I'm just coming to the conclusion, because we're right at that point where you really should know exactly how it's all going to unfold. All the electricity that's up in the sky, the technology, when you see heaven roll up like a scroll, you know, like, let's just say, okay, it's gonna be freezing. It's gonna be like 10 degrees out. Now, it might be 6 degrees. It'll be 6 degrees out, maybe even -6. And after, I don't know, like, let's say 7 full days of, just because I like the number 7 full days of the show goes on, and when our Creator is finished with using Satan, the influence, using Satan to deceive everybody, including the elite, when he's completely finished with that, well, here's how you guys are going to turn to God and understand that he is the only God. God's going to take all of that electricity, all that technology that you guys got out there, covering our sky, because that's what it is. At first I thought maybe they painted our dome or something. Now it's all technology covering it. So when it's dark, those days of darkness, and you guys are just waiting to turn your face back to the fort of your own land and take us into captivity, everybody, God is going to flick the switch. That's it. He's going to flick the switch and just toss all of your technology and electricity, and the sky will open back up with our original sun shining. And then all of a sudden it'll be you know, it'll be warm like normal. You know, kind of like in how San Diego is, right? It'll be warm like it's supposed to be, year after year, day after day, year after year. Do you not believe that God is going to put an end to this? I mean, I know the elite don't believe that because they are all gods. Haven't I told you that ye are all gods? So if you want to look at it literal, there it is. There it is in a nutshell. This screen that's here. Yeah, it looks blue. It's good. But here's the thing, and I don't have any proof, but I'm convinced. Clouds were never literal. God makes it rain by making it rain. These clouds that we see with our eyes, I mean, how long have they had clouds? How long have they had this technology? They're not going to tell us. They had this technology way before anybody can remember. So when it comes to having actual pictures and videos of clouds in the sky, when they first came out with the first camcorder video recorder, they already had it probably 50 years beforehand. Maybe even an entire generation. Like, in other words, they have it, let's say 120 years ago. All right, so back in early 1900, they had this technology 50 years before that. 1850, right? They started to make clouds. Then they start teaching you in school that a cloud is what you see in the sky. Because the cloud in the Bible represents God's judgment. When God is talking about the clouds, because God's coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him. How are they going to see him? The ones that pierced him, how are they going to see him if they're dead 2,000 years ago? Well, it must mean that their spirit is alive today, the ones that pierced him. And they're going to see him. Because when it says it back then, they all thought that, well, he was coming any minute now, you know what I mean? Kind of like how everybody's thinking now. But the clouds of judgment, God's judgment is coming upon you. That's all. That's it. And all this technology that you guys are using, well, you show us clouds. You create the fake sun. You create the fake moon. You create our scenery up in the sky. we know it's your technology that's covering our original sky. We know that you guys are acting as if you're God. Just like the weather, summer, winter, spring, fall, you divided it in 4s to change the seasons and the times and look to change the laws and everything. So anybody that doesn't have a memory, anybody who's not alive right now, I don't think anybody is 120 years old that can remember anything. So take 120 years from now, subtract it to the early 1900s, and then subtract another 50 years from when the technology started, and start teaching that the clouds are actually these things up in the skies. That way we can see that, well, Christ is coming with the clouds, and everybody that takes the Bible literal is looking at it like, wow, the clouds are here. God must be coming with them. You don't think God knew what you guys were up to? Changing the words, the meanings. So the person that was 120 years old is dead. They can't tell you. Someone who's 170 years old, they can't tell you that back in 1850, there were no clouds in the sky. I don't know what you're talking about. That's why it's taken over 100-something years of this technology that they have, and then they finally show us what they want us to see. That way everybody can be deceived, and then they think that they're going to rule the world with that idea. You create the weather. We all know that you can make it freezing cold, and the very next day it could be like 70 degrees, just like that, because you turn off the technology that freezes us out. And you can turn the heat up, you can turn it down. It's just like a thermostat. Why can't you do that? You have the Air Force. You guys rule the air. It's all going to come crashing down. And I have a strange feeling that people are literally looking for, I mean, I already know that he's not coming in the sky, even though we're going to see images of him in the skies. He's not coming in one person. So anybody that's looking for one person, you're denying the Christ that's inside of you if you're looking for one person. If you want to worship one person, well, go ahead. That's how it's going to happen. When God is done, when he knows that everybody has turned to him, and then it's the elite's turn, because 7 billion people are going to turn to him with all this deception. You know, the rest in Thyatira, the ones that don't have this doctrine, don't know the depths of Satan. God has no other burden to put upon you. Then it's back to, well, it's back to regular living. It's back to eating fruits and vegetables. And there's no more killings. There's no more murders. There's no more deaths. There's no more sorrow, because it's over. All your technology has been wiped out. The sky opens back up to the way it's normally supposed to be, with sunshine. Who even knows if it's even supposed to be dark out? I just take it as far as possible. There's no more darkness. Well, there's no more evil. God's people have been let go. Gang stalking doesn't exist anymore because, well, you don't have the technology anymore to be like, I those are there. Here, baby. Let me flick my one light off and my tail light and take that off. Let me stalk. See, we were stalked for a reason. We were stalked for a reason. Satan gave you guys the idea that it would be great to follow God's people around and harass them and just attempted harassment and gang stalking. But see, God's purpose was to let you guys follow us around so you can see how God's people conduct themselves. How do we conduct ourselves? With our different beliefs. The people that have different beliefs, but you can still communicate, put your pride aside and not allow it to interfere with a Christ-like relationship. That's what God's people truly are. So you guys are following us around and you're seeing it. You're seeing how we're reacting towards the gang stalking, towards knowing what you guys are doing, towards knowing that your plan is to literally murder us. And our plan is to just show you that it ain't happening that way at all. It ain't happening that way. So I'm looking at it literal. Staying here, right here, on earth, this earth, because the meek will inherit the earth. So if you're literally looking to escape, that's kind of what I'm getting at. If you're looking to escape, the easy way out, and just wait for God to, like Calgon, frickin' take you away, you might be disappointed, you know? Even though people want to go, but why do you want to leave this world? Because it's disgusting, right? That's the only reason why I want to get out of here. But I don't see us magically disappearing like Lucky Charms. I'm looking at it as literal as possible. People want literal? Okay, I'll give you literal. This is literally how it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen some other way, where we all just like wake up from a dream state conscience and go to our real conscience and have a different spiritual resurrected body along with our soul, if that ain't the case, if that's an actual spiritual meaning that we don't understand, because a lot of things are spiritual. The whole entire Bible is a spiritual book. You can take it literal if you want to, or you can learn how to understand it spiritually. That way you get a deeper meaning out of it. And then on top of that, the Bible could have been literal with the stories that were told, but it also has spiritual meanings behind it. And it can also mean like 3, 4, 5 different things. Like you could be right with your interpretation. He can be right over there. She could be right over there. I can be right. He can be right. The dog can be right. It's just that it pertains to different aspects of it. Like I'll give you a good example. The cat's out of the bag. And if you read that in the Bible and you want to take it literal, you're gonna think that some guy took a fuzzy animal out of a bag, a cat out of the bag, and put him on the ground and let him walk away. But who puts a freaking cat in a bag anyway? And why would a cat be in a bag? And then to take him out of the bag, what's the point? You know what I mean? But obviously, the spiritual aspect of it is the gig is up. Okay, elite, the gig is up. The cat's out of the bag. Your sky's fake. You guys are fake. Everything that you create is fake. Everybody around you that you deal with, they're all fake. Don't you get sick of fakeness? They're all liars because they're fake. All of Hollywood is fake. All sports is fake. I mean, they just let Tom Brady run up and down the field, you know? Just, you can see where they just allowed and let them catch the ball and let them run the ball. And they're professional athletes that, even when I seen Drew Brees throwing the football and it was an interception, take a look at it again. I think I have the record. He stopped his hand like this and just like tossed it up perfectly. And then the guy, I mean, perfectly, the guy was just like falling down. He literally put it right in his hands. It's a play that they practiced. They practiced that play. So all sports is fake. And quite honestly, it's kind of gay. Especially football, it's just kind of gay. So yeah, when this all happens in the winter, right, with the cold weather, and then when God is done with all the technology, it will just open up. The sky will open up with the original sun and our original stars and our original moon, if we even have a real moon. I mean, look, I don't know. I know we have a sun because the sun it used to be yellow. So yeah, I guess we might have a real moon. Yeah, because it's a lesser light that, okay, yeah, there's a real moon. You know, I'm kind of just looking at all of it. Real stars, real moon, real sun. Yeah, I'll go with everything has just been covered up for as long as I've been alive. I mean, the clouds anyway have been created since I've been alive, because I remember seeing them. And I remember the sun was yellow at one point. But when it turns into, I don't know, let's say like just 80 degrees, all of a sudden the sky opens up, the sun is shining, and the air becomes warm just like that. I mean, you elite will shit your pants. You, the elite, the remnant, because I tried to figure, how is it that the 7,000 are going to be slain, you know, by the word of God, and the deception that's going on, and then the remnant are frightened and gave glory to God. The remnant, it's you guys. You guys are absolutely the remnant, the elite, the ones that know the truth and turn from it. Here's why it's going to hurt so bad. Because all of your technology is going to be wiped out. Just like the Towers of Babel. Just like when he scattered the language. Because you guys are trying to go to the heavens. Even though you don't understand the heavens inside of you. You guys will drop to your knees and confess with your tongue. Because that's not part of the script. Nobody was told to ixnay on the electric and cut it off. And then when you try to figure out why, well, you're not. All communications are scattered. Same thing that happened back then, it's going to happen again. It's just going to happen in a different way. All of your electronics, all your communications, everything is gone. Finished. And we all stay here. And you can't be more powerful than God's people. Especially when everybody in the world already turned to God because of the deception that happens for those 7 days until 7 times passes over. Until, you know, you go around that spiritual wall 7 days and Jericho, and you go around it, and then the wall falls. You know, like Kind of like Humpty Dumpty. He had a great fall. That's what you guys are. You guys are basically Humpty Dumpty. Sitting on a wall, talking about this wall that Trump's going to build. You ain't building the wall, Trump. You're not talking about a literal wall. Just like when you said Mexico's going to pay for it, and you weren't literally talking about them paying for it with money. You were talking about them paying for it, like you're going to pay for it. So you're showing that you're trying to interpret a different way, and but God has His way of interpreting the wall, and it's the wall that you put up that's going to come crashing down. You guys are going to have a great fall. It's going to be awesome. And nothing is going to be for sale. You don't have to buy or sell anything, because everything will be free, because it's the land of the free. It's the home of the brave. And so there's that. I just wanted to tell you guys that how it's literally going to happen. All gang stalking is going to cease. I will. All gang stalking is going to cease. All evil blood drinkers are going to cease. Baby killings and rapings and murderers and all this stuff is going to cease. God is going to open up the sky with His original sun and moon and stars, and it's going to be back to normal, the way it's supposed to be. So I would advise people to get your house in order, and don't just sit around waiting for Christ to appear when He's already rising inside of you. Look at it this way. If we escape this world in a dramatic fashion where we all wake up or something and we just change like that, and we're like more angelic beings or something, well, then that's a plus. But in the meantime, I'd say get prepared to stay right where you're at and just accept the fact that we're going to have our original sun back. Because, man, I miss the original blue skies that have no clouds in them ever. And it's sunny, and it's nice, and it's warm. It's like lukewarm. See, we'll be able to enjoy being lukewarm after we have to deal with being hot and cold. The changing of the seasons and times. We'll be able to finally experience what it's like for your neighbor to be a kind person. I mean, most likely, for the most part, our neighbors are kind. But they're just, they're into this gang stalking thing. A lot of them are. They've taken the money. But nothing's going to be, we're not going to have to pay for anything anymore. What's going to happen to the cars and the gasoline? I don't know. Maybe we're just not going to have them anymore. Who needs them? Where do you need to go? Like, where do you need to go? Traffic lights, everything, just nothing will be, the power will be gone. And then when you try to create power again, it's just not going to happen. So I don't know. I don't know how all that's going to work, but I'm trying to look at it literally. And I literally see, number one, I absolutely see that the elite's technology is going to be wiped out. Right as they go to wipe us out and turn off our electricity, then it's time for their electricity to be wiped out. So don't freak out, people. And don't go running to FEMA camps. Just stay where you're at. Be patient and wait for, not like that, but be patient and wait for God to wipe out their power. Get rid of all their electricity, their technology, and open the sky back up. Because when the elite see that, they're going to be like, Oh my God. What happened? When they find out that God did it, and then they drop to their knees and confess with their tongue. That's how I see it, literally. And that's the pain. You guys are going to be gnashing your teeth for pain because your rulership has just been transferred to the people of the earth. We inherit the earth. You guys might not even be our servants, you know? I mean, if it works out the way God changes it and we're all in a different place, well, yeah, you guys are going to be our servants. So, to the elite, you guys might want to pray that it only happens the way that I'm saying that it will, which is literal, that God's just going to eradicate your technology. Because then we're all equal. And we just go about our lives again normally. And you guys don't have to be our slaves. Like, you don't have to clean our dishes and scrub our toilets and that kind of stuff, you know. You just lose your power. But either way, all that money, oh man, all that money, it's going to be worth nothing because paper money is worth nothing anyway. But the money that you guys have and all the power that you have because of the electronics, the technology that you have, that's the only reason why you guys have power. The TV, you got people sitting in front of TV just staring at it. You know what I mean? All the fast food joints, no more. All this stuff that we thought we were supposed to eat 3 times a day, I have a feeling that we were only meant to eat once a day, like normal. Before all this technology happened and all these stores popping up and just feeding us everything. But we're so used to it that we feel like that's what we need to do. I just say get ready, get prepared ahead of time. Start fasting, start exercising, just start getting up and getting around and just doing what you got to do. Get prepared. I mean, it doesn't hurt because eating right, exercising, it gets rid of diseases. It takes away the pain and suffering. So the world's coming to an end. It is. You know, just pain and suffering is coming to an end. And the power is going to be exchanged to us.